Alright, today I want to talk to you about number 3 on measuring meticulously. So it says a roll of gift wrap has 9 linear feet of paper. About how many linear meters of paper are on a roll if 1 foot is approximately 0.305 meters. So 305 thousandths of a meter. Okay, so what I want to do first is I want to go ahead and set up my proportion. Okay, I know that I'm talking about feet and meters. Feet, meters. It doesn't matter which way I set this up, it's going to be solved the same way. So feet to meters. So I know that 1 foot is equal to 0.305 meters. So I want to know how many 9 linear feet of paper would give me in terms of meters. So I'm going to go ahead and decide that it says 9 feet, so I know this is feet, so I'm going to put 9 next to it. So if I'm going from 1 to 9, what operation am I doing? And I know that I'm multiplying times 9. So I'm multiplying times 9 on the top and the bottom. So let's go ahead on the side. I'm going to go ahead and multiply it. So I take this number here, I rewrite it, okay, and then I'm going to multiply. Now the 9, I've told y'all, okay, so my example is this. Whenever the principal asks you, when you come into an auditorium, he always tells you to move all the way to the right because he wants to fill in all the spots so everyone has a spot. So what I like to do is with this number, I try to move it and snug it as far as I can to the right. So I'm not going to stop here, I'm going to stop right underneath the 5. Okay, so I snug it in there so that way there's spots for other people to sit. Okay, so that's just my example. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and multiply. 5 times 9 is 45. 9 times 0 is 0. And so it's 0 now. So all I do is add the top. So plus 4 gives me 4. 9 times 3 is 27. Carry. 9 times 0 is 0. Plus 2 is 2. Okay. And now I'm done. But I gotta put my decimal point in because there's a decimal point right here. So there is 1, 2, 3 numbers after my decimal point. So I'm going to start at the very end. And I'm going to jump in 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to jump in as many spaces as there are up here. So there are 3 numbers after the decimal point, so I move it in 3. Okay, so that means that my answer to this problem is going to be C. Okay? Alright. So let's go ahead and move on. I'll do one more with you. I'll go ahead and do number 7. Okay, so let's do number 7. Donnie likes to order a 12-ounce steak at his favorite restaurant. The equation y equals 28 and 4/10 x can be used to find the approximate number of grams in x ounces. About how many grams is Donnie's favorite steak? Okay, so the very first thing I like to do is I rewrite the equation. Okay, and once I rewrite the equation, I like to label my x and my y values. So from reading, what is the x? What does it represent? And so I know it says of grams in x ounces. So this is my ounces. So I'm going to rewrite above x, I'm going to write ounces. And if that is ounces, then that must mean that this y is grams. Okay, so Donnie likes to order a 12-ounce steak at his favorite restaurant. And then it says about how many grams is his favorite steak. So we know it's 12 ounces, but we have to change the 12 ounces to grams. So I go ahead and I rewrite this, and then because this represents ounces, I go to the column that represents ounces, right? So I'm going to, instead of x, I'm going to put in the number 12, because 12 represents my ounces, so I put 12 here. Now once I solve this and multiply this together, it's going to give me my final answer. Okay, so off to the side here, it's going to be 28.4 times 12, and remember I told you whenever the principal asks you to come in, you move as far as you can to the right. So I snug the number in right here. Okay? Now I'm just going to multiply, and I'm not going to care about the decimal point. I'm not. So just multiply like normal. Okay, so you're wondering why I left this. It's because whenever you multiply, if you're multiplying by this number, then your answer is going to start here. Okay? So if you're multiplying times 1 now, your answer is always going to be right beneath it. Okay, so you can always put a scratch, lay an egg. That's how a lot of people do it. But I didn't learn it that way, but you definitely can put a 0 there. Okay, so that gives me, alright, Now, how many numbers are after the decimal point? And that's going to be 1. So I move it in 1 time, and my final answer is going to be A. So A is my final answer. Alright, so I have done 2. You should have 4 problems left to do by yourself.